A few weeks ago I shared a video on the new Midjourney editor and layer system and mentioned this part here about Photobashing to create images. But what I didn't mention is once you have your image laid out, you can simply go to Retexture, type in a prompt, and use that as a way to compose the layout and style of your image in order to get more control over your end result. Now what's really cool is a few people reached out with comments mentioning this concept. So I took that as a prompt and thought I should dive a little bit deeper because it seems like something that you guys are interested in learning. So I've got a few tips and tricks and go a little bit deeper into the process for you today so you can get a bit more control over your Midjourney images whilst using the Midjourney editor. Now to start basically photobashing, we're going to drag in our first image to get started. Maybe I bring it in, extend it out a little bit because I've got a character I want to sit off to the side of the temple and I want to add something in the background. I'm going to move this down a little bit. And now while I want to fill this part in, I also want to get rid of these people. So I'm going to go to my paint, my erase tool. I'm going to first get rid of the people and I'm going to type in a prompt. I have an ancient Japanese temple with trees and a stone footpath. I submit that edit. And I'm using the editor to create like a base background for us to kind of build on top of or even manipulate. And now we've got our background set up. But what I also want to do is add like say Mount Fuji in the background here. So I'm going to grab Smart Select to remove that sky. And I'm just going to click on the sky and it will give it a pretty rough selection. It's actually got a bit of space around the outside, but I'm going to erase that selection. And that's going to be okay for now, I think. We might need to touch this up a little bit depending on where Mount Fuji actually comes in. But now I drag in my image I have here of Mount Fuji. I can grab, move, and resize, and I can position that to fill up that space to create a more interesting background. Let's bring it down a bit. I can drag layer 1 below layer 2, and now it's in the background. We do get a weird sort of effect happening here with the trees, so I'm going to click on layer 1, grab my eraser, and just kind of touch it up a little bit. Doesn't have to be perfect. But we've kind of got what we need here, it's nothing fancy, but we've been able to add that in the background. Now, we could continue to work from here as is. However, what I could also do is simply type in comma, Mount Fuji in the background, and I could go to Retexture and submit that. And what it creates is pretty good. I've got a few options. This one looks pretty cinematic. So you can see how we can get some pretty good results straight off the bat just by doing something like that. Now you don't have to follow this exact process. I'm just sort of sharing some concepts with you on how you could work, but essentially what you could do is render each step as you go, and that way you don't end up having a bunch of layers you have to sift through, or you can actually just keep laying out those layers as opposed to rendering and building from there. So it really depends on what your preference is when working with a system like this. So I'm actually going to head back to the edit though. So we could continue with that background, but let's actually work a little bit more on the photobashing side of things. I'm going to drag in my character. Now I generated this one in Midjourney, but it's not going to cut it out that well. If I use Smart Select, hit the background, there's all this space around the character, and that kind of bugs me a little bit. So I'm going to turn this off and actually delete that layer. Now what I'm going to do instead is head to Google, and like I've done previously, I've searched for Adobe Background Remover, and we have a free image background remover. If I click on that, drag my image in, it'll cut it out and do a much neater job. So then I can download a transparent PNG. I come back to my editor, and this time I drag the transparent PNG of the character in place. So this is to demonstrate how you can actually lay objects out. I've only used 3 here, but you could add 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The more complex, the more difficult it can be to really get onto it. But if I wanted to position him here, like he's got the temple to the left that he's defending on the right, I now have my image layout. But keep in mind before we go further, you could also take one of those renders of the background we did previously and just simply pop the PNG on there if that's all you wanted to do. You actually don't need to re-render the human if you're actually happy with the background as it is. So that's not a bad way to go either. There's so many different options you can choose when using this editor. But I still have the option to use this layout we've built with the layers and go to Retexture and enter a new prompt. Samurai man holding a sword, an ancient Japanese temple with trees and stone footpath, Mount Fuji in the background. I could just prompt for something basic like that, hit submit retexture, and it generates our image. Once again, we get a few options. Things are looking a little different though, and our character doesn't look like our character. But this could still be a good way to work. If you weren't too concerned about the character, I can still come up to the edit and even type in something like a cinematic movie screen cap of a samurai man, ancient temple on fire, which is something I always seem to put in here. I've added dramatic lighting, nighttime. I could go in further and describe a vast difference in the scene to what I've actually compiled. Submit, and I've managed to create something pretty cool. It's vastly different from what I uploaded in its fashion, but not exactly identical. So I really like this image here. I like that it's kept the mountain up the top in the background. The fire in the temple really lights up the temple well, but also the light is reflected on the character. So this really does a great job of combining these elements and re-rendering them in a way that seems natural. However, we still don't have our character. Before I go any further, I'm going to come back to our edit again because we're not really getting our character here. And if I switch to say version 7, making sure I don't have this at the end of my prompt, I click on image prompt and I have omni-reference. However, we can't use omni-reference at the moment at the time of recording, at least not in the editor. But once it becomes available, I'd highly recommend giving that a go. So I'm going to go back to version 6.1, which is why I still tend to use this mostly when using the editor. Once again, I bring up my image prompts and you'll notice I've got my character here. I've actually uploaded him before, so I'm going to click on this image here. Just drag him across to use as a character reference. Now, it's not going to get him exact, but it is a way to sort of help dial it a little bit closer to what we had before. I can submit retexture, and I've been able to generate some images with a guy who looks a little bit closer to our character. It's not perfect. This one's actually probably not too bad, and we've got our background. However, we've changed the style of the background, which is pretty cool. And again, we can try many different backgrounds. I go back to the edit. I can type in a black and white ink drawing of, and I can even add in a personalization profile, like my ink dripper personalization profile, and submit that. And we get something a little more stylized, not exact. And that's a big part about what I like that I think might get overlooked by a lot of people, is that you can use all of the tools in your prompt bar, but also your personalization tools and especially mood boards to really take more control over the output when using a method like this to compose your images. But if I really like this one, I can reiterate even further. For one, I can remove the character reference, get my paint, erase, and just remove a tiny little portion here. And the reason I do that is to make sure it retextures this image, not the original. I submit, and you can see we've got our new image on the left. So I've been able to reiterate further here based on that base background. So there's a lot of possibilities and things you can try with this so far. But coming back to our original edit, what if we wanted it to look a bit more like this? Because I've clicked back, it's popped our character reference back in there. What if I grab this temple photo here, drag it in as a style reference? Now I have a style reference to sort of set the color and the look of the scene. I've got our character. I need to turn off personalization, but also remove the personalization from my prompt. If I submit retexture this time, before I show you the results of this, I actually just realized I left in black and white ink drawing in the prompt. So the result isn't going to be quite as good as I originally expected. Now our character looks closer to our character. The temple is still on fire. I could always remove that, but it's a similar color to the original color of the temple. If I get rid of the on fire part of it and the nighttime and dramatic lighting, and the ink drawing, I say a photo of a samurai holding a sword, Japanese temple, trees and stone footpath, Mount Fuji in the background. I can submit that. And we don't have Mount Fuji anymore, but we do have something closer. I can still have a few options here. This has ended up a little bit closer to the images we supplied, so there's one way to kind of pull Midjourney in the right direction. It's not perfect, but it does help, because the fact that you can use 6.1 and consistent characters in here means that you have a little bit more of a chance to get things looking the way you want. And I can't promise great results, but if I head back to edit and erase this guy's head, just leaving a little bit at the top there, I can turn off the style reference and submit the edit again. And I've got a few options without changing the rest of the image. Now, sometimes this worked well, sometimes this doesn't. And in this particular instance, I don't think it's worked that well, but I still think one of these ones is probably going to be the best bet. I really like this one here, and that works pretty well for now, but there's still more we can do. I can close this down. I could even try an sref code. So if I type in sref, I might even try a random number to see what code we get. Go to retexture, submit retexture, and it's gone a little bit more in the direction of that sref code. This one probably being one of the stronger versions of it. Now, for some reason in this editor, I find that often in order to get the style I want, I have to generate one image and then I have to actually generate another image off of that new image, kind of like double stepping in iterations to get the style that I want. So I'm going to start off, first of all, remove the character reference, and with my eraser, take a little bit out, submit again. So using it for styles, sometimes it's good to actually submit twice and reiterate in order to really get the full effect of that style. But at the end of the day, the layout is pretty much standard. We've been able to control where the man stands, where the temple is, the mountain in the background. So this is a really great tool for composing your Midjourney edits. Now, this is another layer of control. The more control we have with Midjourney, the better our images can become. It's just really a lot of work to get everything exactly the way you want, but I do have another option for trying to get the face if you're not getting the results you're after. If I come back to one of these images here, maybe I'm still not quite happy with the face. But if I download this image, I can head to a face swapper like Pixie AI, which has a free option. We can take the source image, which is this one, add the target image, and try to swap this face over. I click swap, and now this guy actually looks like our original character. So we can step outside of Midjourney to do that face swap. Design AI also has a very good face swapper if you happen to have access to that as well. So that is another option for getting a little bit more stability in your edits. Now, of course, there's also the simple option of not photobashing or editing at all, but finding or taking a photo of the layout and the pose you're after and using that to compose your image in Midjourney. It's a pretty simple process and does get some pretty decent results. But coming back and looking at some sketch to image. Now, I've used this image in the past. It's a thumbnail on one of my other videos covering the editor. And of course, I can do sketch to image with this and use all the same sort of tools as I had before. But I also want to touch on another idea, something else you can do, which is I can actually use this to, again, edit what it is I want to create. So maybe I pop this here. Then I add a prompt, sketch of Batman with his arm up in the air, forming a fist, submit, and I've been able to find an image which has actually put his fist up in the air. So that means when you upload sketches or photos and you're just thinking about, I want this one thing, but it's not quite right, you can still make edits, even to sketches or your own art, just to get the pose you're after before submitting. And of course, there's a few different ways you can submit rather than just prompting. Now Batman has his fist in the air, I'm just going to actually name the prompt Batman. Something very plain and boring. And as before, I can add an image prompt like a style reference and upload an image of Batman from a comic book, which you can see here. Then go to retexture, submit that, and that's a great way to upload a style and colors of, say, a character or an object with a black and white sketch as your composition. And then the same rules apply. Adding my ink dripper mood board, cranking the stylize up, gets a pretty good result. I did the same with my Giga-esque dystopia and got some pretty cool sort of like biomechanical looking images, although I removed the style reference to maximize its effect. Then I decided to bump up to version 7 with my personalization profile applied, and I thought these were a pretty unique style of Batman images. But I then added cinematic action film to the prompt and got this cool image. But then I wanted to try the reiteration. So then I submitted another edit based off that image to get this one, but then thought I'd just give it another one to see if it would sharpen it up a bit more. So feeding that second image in as a reference, we get something a little bit more realistic and cinematic looking. And I really think this turned out pretty awesome. And I love the way the cape is kind of torn down there in the corner. So this is some of the possibilities that you can go down using all the different tools of Midjourney when retexturing. So hopefully that gives you some idea not only of how to photobash and create layouts for your images, but also different ways you can use image prompts, personalization mood boards, crank that stylize up to really get that personalization going and really blend all the tools in to the editor and try not to get too distracted by the editor itself. So there's so much you can do, and I highly recommend experimenting and having a play around and see what you can come up with. And if you're wanting to learn a bit more about this, I've got a video I'll pop up soon, but also check out my Midjourney course. It's very comprehensive. I've covered as much of Midjourney as I can because I want this to be the ultimate resource. So check that out. There's a link in the description below. Also, if you want to check out the mood boards I've been using, they're on my Instagram, which I've also linked to below as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please consider giving it a like. Otherwise, I hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.